I'm walking to the station from my studio, and while I was working, I was listening to all these videos about the collapse of the job market, how Gen Z is heading into an apocalyptic job market, and that made me think back to in art school when I was going to graduate, and my peers and classmates who were in like the dance department or design department, art history, they were all equally fearful as I was what they're really going to do and whether or not this degree was worth it. And this is before COVID. This was in 2018. So there was never, for the creatives out there who went to art school or have some liberal arts degree, there was never a promise of jobs for us. So it's interesting that all these YouTubers are making videos about how this is the toughest job market ever, but I think what they're really saying is the meta is changing, and it's not as simple as young millennials were promised. I think I grew up in an environment in which some STEM field was the only way, and that's it, and that was the meta at the time. And we were promised, if you enter a STEM field, by the time it's starting to rain, but if you enter the STEM field, by the time you graduate, you'll pick up some entry-level job, and maybe stay there for a few years, and then you'll quit and find a better job with a higher salary. And that was the meta, and that was the metaphor up until very recently. I mean, you really saw the height of it when during COVID there was just this massive boom of tech job, remote workers. Like, everyone was hiring and salaries were good and the market was good. This was, like 3 years ago. So this was, and now a bunch of YouTubers are saying like, and I don't even live in America, so I'm not in tech, so I don't even know the reality of it. I'm just, I guess, consuming this information from secondary sources. But there seems to be a lot of young millennials or older Gen Z that are in the workforce making YouTube videos about it, so there must be some level of credibility. But what they're saying is now, I guess what they mean now is maybe 2024, 2025, that STEM meta isn't working as easily as Gen Z thought it would. Oh, I gotta catch this light. Okay, I made it. But these YouTube videos are contextualizing it as if it's this collapse of the job, like the job market for younger generation, which is totally false, since there's so many industries like the creative fields that always never promised anything, always had shit outcomes and low stability. And it's not just creative fields, there's a lot of other endless industry, research, like, which I guess classifies under a technical field or STEM. Any kind of research. I don't think there's a lot of stability or money in any of those industries. We were really just promised like tech, to be either an engineer or to be in tech was the best work-life balance. And that's why Asian parents in America have encouraged pretty much an entire generation of kids that was the only job or career identity that was valid. And we were taught this in school. And now that's no longer the case. I'm not saying like, it sounds like, I don't know, YouTube, they're like fear-mongering, they're making it sound like it's so hard. I'm sure there's a lot of very talented undergraduates that are getting hired, even not that talented. I'm sure people are still getting jobs. It's just, it's harder for sure. And it's probably just as hard as trying to find job stability, as for, the same level of struggle that I face currently as an artist. I'm fighting to keep my head above water. And that kind of same level of insecurity, I think now people in tech, or I don't even know if it's just tech. I mean, it might be just the job industry in general, because this YouTuber I was listening to is in marketing, and she was talking about burnout, and how also it's more difficult to enter any junior positions. So it seems like AI and this supposed, collapse of the job market for the youth is more of, I guess, to put it in a positive frame, it's more of like balancing the playing field. And now there's no meta. It's a new meta has to be discovered. Or maybe this will of course correct, and STEM is still going to be like Gen Beta's go-to. I'm not sure. I don't know, because people love to fearmonger and gets clicks and views. So who knows? Maybe this is just all blown out of proportion from social media, but maybe it is balancing the playing field. And I guess people in certain fields that used to get memed on for being dead end, or there's no money in it, maybe the social perception of those jobs will be rebalanced from this collapse of the STEM meta, and Gen Beta and Gen Alpha will grow up in a world of different priorities. Like when I have kids, I really hope there's going to be a different meta, because I feel like when I was in high school, my high school really didn't have any central focus. They were very free. There was no pressure to be anything. I grew up in Hawaii, so we're just, by the culture of it, we're very chill. But still, from like the greater, I guess, American zeitgeist at the time, I felt that societal pressure of I have to enter STEM somehow, or even if I wanted to enter a creative industry, it had to have somehow been STEM related. And so I didn't really grow up around friends that wanted to be chefs or musicians or actors, or even like enter political science or be politicians or research. Not necessarily a lot of friends that had a passion or felt like this was a legitimate direction for their life. So I kind of, for my kids, I hope that they'll have friends in high school that want to open a restaurant, want to focus on maybe starting a garage band and seeing where that goes, And I think it's exciting. The fear-mongering is exciting, and if it's real, it's exciting, because that means that there's now space for a new meta to be discovered or proposed. So it feels fresh, and maybe I'm projecting because I'm in a creative field, so it's kind of entertaining to see the playing fields be a little bit more equal now. That fear of job stability makes a lot of people in the workforce starting to rethink what the hell they're doing in life. The great thing about art is I guess because it's never been a super profitable, easy, non-laborious industry, people that usually are in it, they find it very fulfilling. So there is burnout culture, but it's different. I mean, I think on a creative level, you'll always feel fulfilled, and the stress and burnout actually, in many cases, encourages or promotes a much stronger sense of self-worth, because that stress means that you're really actively working on something that will make you more fulfilled as a creative. So I'm at the station, and also I guess this is a small thing I want to record. Hope that makes sense.